This is Ellen, your side character guest with Side Character Quest. I am joined by our host, Ty.
Hello. Well, actually, I have taken over for today. It's me, or I find that the stories in this droll and plebeian podcasts are not quite up to snuff. So I have taken over as resident author of future adventures. 'Tis I, Charles DeGeorge, a mortal science fiction writer and Fabergé egg salesman. How are you doing today?
Wonderful. Shall I call you Sir Charles, Sir, Mr. George?
Mr. George is fine. I'll just one moment. Sorry, I just needed to take a swig of this delicious Fabergé egg. Would you like some?
Sure. We are definitely sitting in the same room right now.
You can't afford it, my dear. I'm sorry. Oh goodness. But if you would like, I could have a sample, drummed up for you of just a little droplet of it.
Just waft some into a box and mail that to me, and I will be able to
take a quick sniff of this and just waft it over.
Okay, I'm wafting.
You're busting up the fiction, Dolly. God.
Oh no, he's gonna climb the door.
No.
God damn it.
Cat.
Cat.
You can't do this to us. We had a thing going. Hey everybody, this is Ty from Side Character Quest, your host, your good old buddy, and the voice that you just heard a moment ago was Dolly, the cat, ruining us, ruining a good kind of long bit that we had going. How are you doing, Ellen?
Oh, great. Dolly has now since been kicked out of the room. He has lost his room privileges.
Ruined it. Okay. Well, let's see. Where we last left off, you were going into a mine with your apprentice by the name of. Do you remember her name?
Lee.
Yeah, Lee.
Wait. Question: Is it Lee, Leigh, or Lee, or Lea?
It's Li. Li. Yes.
Wow.
I'm. You went through 3 before getting to the. Didn't even get to the one that I had in mind. That Lee is a very versatile name. She's a human. You are a guildmaster, a dwarf, an arithmancer. Is that the right word?
Yes.
And you are trying to find a small vein of a very rare ore called lapis tempus to use for some repairs that you were hired to do. Where we last left off, you were jumping down a mine shaft to get away from an overzealous tour guide, and you had just used Featherfall on yourself and Lee as you guys went down this mine shaft.
Awesome.
So let's hop in. Do you have any questions real quick before we hop in media res?
I think we could jump right in.
Okay, we jump back in. Exactly. We jump back in as you and Lee are slowly falling down this mine shaft. It is getting darker and darker and darker. It doesn't take too long. Though, before your feet, not too hard, hit the hard ground below you, and you hear Lee hit the ground and stumble a little bit as she catches herself, and you two are in pretty intense darkness right now. You can look up and you see a little bit of light above you. You actually, as a dwarf, you have dark vision, so you can see a little bit around you, even though this is pretty much complete darkness. You can see it as if it's just very dim, but you can't see any colors. You can't see anything like that. What do you do in this moment?
Lee, did you grab that map?
I believe I'd have to check to the recording, but I believe that you grabbed the map from the that place from that little side. They know what this is. I believe you have that map in your pack.
Okay, let me check. Do you remember if this was a coal mine?
No, this was not a coal mine. Let me get my notes.
And she pulls out a pack out of her bag just by touch.
Do you have a lantern on you, or could you give me some light or something?
All right. If you are relatively sure it's not a coal mine, I'll trust you, and I will cast Produce Flame.
Nice. Okay. That's a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. So you're just like holding it in your hand?
Yeah.
Okay. So you cast Produce Flame, and Lee pulls her pack out. She has some very like orderly notes and starts flipping through, and orderly notes, and she finds her section on the mine and says to you, so it looks like this mine wasn't really in use for very long. They were trying to see if they could find ends for a few veins, and according to the documents we have on it, it kind of, actually, I should probably roll some sort of history check, right? No, she had time to research this shit. This mine wasn't used for very long before they abandoned it. They realized the veins didn't go quite as long as they wanted. But yeah, there's supposed to be some lapis tempus. There was supposed to be a tiny bit of it somewhere down there. Just, it wasn't enough to be profitable for them to keep going. So yeah.
All right. Okay. I dig around in my pack and bring out the mind map.
Okay.
And let's say I also bring a lantern and pop that flame inside.
Sweet. Yeah, you had grabbed a lantern from the from that shack that you also grabbed the map from. If my notes are correct, listeners, hey man, I'll have edited this podcast by the time you see it, so I'll know if I was wrong. But yeah, you definitely do have a lamp somehow. You very carefully transfer the flame in there. You take a look at this map under the flickering light of your lantern, and you see a few different paths of this mine going off in different directions. It appears that they maybe you might be able to guess with your, you're a dwarf. You are aware of like mining culture. They're probably testing different routes, trying to find different veins. You can see that at the end of one of those paths, there is a mine shaft that goes deeper. You can also see that connected to the room you're currently in is some sort of break room or barracks or that sort of thing. That's pretty much all you see. There's like 3 paths and a break room, and then the elevator shaft that you're in.
All right. Okay. Let's say I walk towards the break room.
Okay.
And can I roll something to take a look around and see what I see?
Yeah. You're going to roll a perception check.
All right. Wisdom?
Yes, that's going to be wisdom. I'm going to see if you have any like special.
I got a +1.
+1. Yep. Add that +1 to that.
All right, so it's a 17 + 1 is 18.
17 + 1, 18. So you walk over to this place. Your vision's the lantern's not super bright, but your vision's pretty good. You're used to darkness, so you can get a pretty good idea of what's going on here. This break room is unlike the room that you just left, where the elevator shaft was, which had very like rough walls. It seemed very like, I don't know the word. It didn't seem very homey. This one feels a lot more like the walls have been smoothed out a lot more. You can see a lot of very well taken care of for. What was that?
Sorry. The cats are running.
Okay.
It is the annual nighttime running of the cats.
Okay,
in
wonderful.
which they dash down the hallway, do a U-turn, skid into the door, and launch themselves in the other direction.
Awesome. Yeah. So you hear. You see.
Or I hear that noise and there's a monster at the door.
You hear that noise and there's a monster at the door. You see that there's like these barracks are full of like beds that are very well taken care of. You can see that they're pretty clean, and you can see some. You see like a board that has like work assignments written on it, and you see shelves and some barrels stashed around. Yeah, that's pretty much what you see in here. You also do hear the sound of like wind going through the mines, like.
Is that coming from a specific pathway?
That's just vaguely coming from. It's hard to tell. It seems to be coming from like deeper in the mind, but beyond that, you don't really know. You also, that's pretty much what you've gotten so far.
Okay, so no like notes or writings or anything.
No. You said writings. On the board that I had mentioned, there is some writing. There appears to be like a work schedule and that sort of thing. I don't know how the years would be written, but it's very clear that these are very old years. They're like from a few decades back. You also see a bunch of names. I'll tell you right now, none of the names are important. Maybe
they're important to the people who they belong to.
You would notice that you do see Comstock's name written on there, but beyond that, there's no other name that you recognize.
All right. Okay, so looks like there's nothing much here for us. So let's head off into the mines because we want to get back out there before it gets dark.
Mm-hmm. Which path are you going to go down? So there's three paths that I mentioned before. One is veering off like northwest, another one's north, another one's northeast. So you can just refer to those as west, north, east.
Okay.
Hey, listener, there's a lot of coughing. I'm going to be cutting a lot of coughing out. So if I miss some, just shut up.
It's okay. We've all been in this mine too long, and we've all contracted a sudden case of miner's lung. That
is correct. Accurate. 100% accurate.
We did this just for you guys, listeners. Just for you.
Are you doing okay, Guildmaster? That's a nasty cough you got there.
Yep. I inhaled on the way down when we were feather falling. We were feather falling a little too long there.
It's in the fiction now, guys. I don't have to edit it out.
All right, so is there any way I can tell if like the air coming from one of these paths like feels colder or there's like more air currents or something? If any one of these are longer?
Okay. You can roll me a perception check again. This is going to be like a kind of high DC, high difficulty check.
All right. Okay, well, critical fail. That was a 1.
You don't know shit.
I have no idea. It's supposed to be a dwarf, but, hey.
Yeah, you don't really... You're, like, looking at this, and you're looking at the map, and Lee looks over at you, and she just sort of grabs the map and turns it upside, like, right side up, and hands it back to you. Here you go.
All right. Okay, so I am going to flip a 3-sided coin. No, going to trust my dwarven intuition and close my eyes and spin around in a circle.
Okay.
And whichever one I end up pointing, I'm just going to go down there.
Okay. I could roll a d6 to determine, or if you have another way if you want to do that.
Let's say I end up west.
Okay, sounds good. You start heading west, and it's just more of that, scratched. Scratch sounds like it's by a monster or something, but that's very rough,
Like,
rough hewn. It's pretty short room, of course, but the thing is, you're a dwarf and Lee isn't super tall, so you guys are fine. She probably crouches a little bit just out of instinct. The room is probably like exactly 6 feet tall, but you go along, and every once in a while there's little support beams, and you walk not too far until you round a bit of a corner in this path, and there is just collapsed rock and rubble in front of you, just completely blocking off this path.
all right.
And
Looks like this isn't the right way.
Do you have, what's your passive perception, by the way?
Where do I find my passive perception?
Sorry. That would just be like 10 plus your wisdom modifier. So that would be, so it's basically like it's like the average of what you would roll. So
Cool.
it's 11. I'll say with an 11, you hear a bit of more of that. But you also hear a little bit of scratching.
Ooh.
Just through the mine, somewhere. It's hard to tell exactly where. But yeah, you hear some scratching, and you hear that just sort of wind sound.
Quick question about the rocks that I'm trying to find.
Mm-hmm.
The lapis. If I do like a arcana check, arcana check, do they have like innate magical properties that I can sense?
So an arcana check is often like used a little bit not quite right in D&D games. It can't like ping magic. It's more of like figuring out stuff about magic that you see or detect. You use it to recall lore about spells, magic items, eldritch symbols, magical traditions, that sort of thing.
Okay, so I can't just like home in on things that have magical properties.
Yes, but if you saw something that was magical, you could do an arcana check to say like, how is this magical? Or like, and it would be based off of what you could conceivably know about magic stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second question, did I bring any pieces of gem with me in order to, I guess, like verify the type of material?
I don't think so, because you don't need, I think that I've established that you don't need a lot of this to complete the job. So I feel like if you had any substantial amount of the Tempest Lapis or the Lapis Tempest, you probably would just be able to use that. You need very, very, like I said, you need very, very little, maybe like smaller than a fist, to do the job that you want to do.
That invalidates one of my plans. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And now you'll never know.
Okay.
All right. And last question.
Yo.
So in my handy dandy catalog of cantrips that I have brought with me, my little stained glass pieces, I can determine the material an object is made of. Can I determine what the walls of the shaft are made of?
Yeah, totally. So just so listeners know, Ellen had wanted to do, she wanted to do a character that was, that used something called arithmancy, which is not a thing in D&D, but I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. So, you know how like wizards have prestidigitation and druids have like druidcraft and things like that? I decided to make a all-purpose cantrip for arithmancers called minor arithmancy. And one of the things it can do is you can determine the material an object is made of. It has a few other fun abilities that are, none of them are super powerful, but there's a lot of variety. So I will say, hey, geologists out there, if anything I'm about to say just does not make any sense, shut up. I'm sorry. The material of that you are in, that you are surrounded by, is like a few different types of stone, sort of mixed in. You're seeing various things like quartz, monzonite, some kaolin mixed in there, various other things. I'm not sure exactly if there's anything you're particularly looking for, but you're definitely not seeing any lapis tempus. You're not seeing anything like coal. You're not seeing anything like flammable.
Sweet.
And you aren't seeing any like precious metals or anything like that. Also some granite.
Sweet. Can make some nice countertops. Okay. Can we go back to the place where the trail forks?
Yeah, totally.
And then can I use this cantrip on each of the tunnels?
Sure. So just you're trying to detect like some sort of difference between them.
To see if there's lapis tempus in one of the walls.
I dig it. Okay. Sure. So you're not gonna find. Okay. So this is what I'm trying to figure out right now. There's not. You're not gonna find like straight up lapis tempus, but you might find something that is similar.
Question: is lapis tempus also blue like lapis lazuli?
If you want it to be.
Let's make it blue, but let's make it like magical blue.
Okay, magical blue. Oh, I think we had said that it changes a little bit with the seasons. So let's say that it's blue this time of year.
It's feeling blue.
It's feeling blue. So you use this cantrip spell on both of those other walls. For the most part, both of them are made of the same sort of stuff that you've seen. But roll me an investigation check. So the thing is, like, this spell is not like telling you what the entire mine is made of. It's only telling you the places that you check. So I'm having you roll the investigation check to see if you choose a good spot when you're doing that.
All right. That's a 12.
12.
Plus, okay, intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's a 14 then.
Oh, 14. So you, like I said, you see most of the same stuff, but you find that both of those paths that you check on have one thing that's a little bit different than the first one that you checked, and that is a little bit of lazurite.
Both of them have lazurite?
Both of them have lazurite in it.
But otherwise, I can't really tell a difference between.
Yeah, otherwise it's pretty much the same as the first one.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out which path to take.
You're at the like sort of mouth of both of those entrances. You can always like go farther down either one and see if you find anything else.
Okay. And there's no, on the map, it doesn't show that one is longer than the other.
On the map, it shows that the one to the north is a little bit longer. There's one thing that I should definitely have added, because you've been investigating both of these. You would have noticed going down all of these paths, all three of these paths are different minecart tracks.
But are there any carts?
There is one cart a little bit down the entrance of the eastern one.
Or does it have one of those things where you like stand on either side and you like push down and it goes ee?
It does not have one of those. I wish it did.
Oh, darn. Okay.
What are those for? Are those for like people to go down to like check on like what is that for? I don't know.
I think so you can go fast. If you gotta go fast.
You gotta go fast. Yeah, that sounds perfect. That sounds like it's probably what it is.
Maybe you can bring stuff on them, like small things. I don't know.
I bet it's originally for like engineers to go down, not engineers, but like not like train conductors, but like engineers to check the rails to make sure that they're smooth before they run like an actual train over the whole distance and screw it up.
All right. If any of the listeners know, they should tweet at you.
Yeah, listener, write in and tell us what this is about. I will not have looked it up. I am being 100% sincere and not sarcastic when I say it. I will not have looked this up. So go ahead and tell us.
All right. Let's go north.
All right, cool. So you go up the middle one, which is the one that was a little bit longer on the map, and that like terminated in a mine shaft that went a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
As you're walking down this way, you see maybe, once again you're seeing those wooden beams that are going over the that are sort of arcing over this already pretty short space.
Mm-hmm.
But as you go a little bit farther, you come across a metal grate with a metal door in it that is blocking off the path further.
Okay, and it's locked?
You go up to it, and there is a lock on the outside, on the side that you're on, and it is unlocked.
Oh, great. I'm going to go through it.
Sweet. You and Lee continue on forward. It's just getting darker and darker. I assume, are you still carrying that lantern, or have you passed that on to Lee?
I think, given that I've been doing spells where I put my hands on the walls, I probably passed it to Lee.
Okay. So she's holding it. She's walking a little bit. Basically, I would say you guys are sort of trading off between who's walking in the front and who's walking in the back, just because, she has the lantern, but then again, you have better vision than her. Mm-hmm. So as you continue along, she reaches up and grabs your shoulder, like, whoa. And you stop just before you are about to step off another mine shaft.
Oh, jeez.
Roll me another perception check.
Ooh, 3.
3.
Plus 1, I think.
Cool.
I'm not particularly perceptive.
So you look down this mine shaft. You feel just sort of air flowing past you. It's pretty dark. You can see like some steps leading down, but beyond that, there's not much that you see that you make out in the darkness.
Is there anything I know about the lapis tempus, about where it might be found, or like its material properties in terms of how it relates to geology? Is that a history thing?
I guess that would be a history thing. You might have some sort of bonus because you're a dwarf.
I have stone cunning.
Stone cunning. Whenever you make an intelligence parenthetical history check related to the origin of stonework or glasswork because of your background, you are considered proficient in the history skill and add double your proficiency bonus to the check instead of your normal. So you're going to add, in addition to whatever your normal thing is, you're going to add 6 to your score.
Okay.
Yeah, you had a shit ton.
So I'm going to do a history check. That's a 12 plus 6.
12 plus 6.
18, so I know things.
You know everything.
I know almost everything.
So you know that the lapis tempus, it generally is located along other veins of other relatively plain ores. Basically, when there's some sort of like magical influence in the area, in the stone in the ground, this ore will just sort of appear along a otherwise ordinary vein. It tends to be around lazurite veins and also pyrite veins, calcite, that sort of stuff. And as you may recall, just a little bit, you did find some hints of lazurite in the walls of this mine. Following what you have heard from Lee's research, there is definitely this stuff in this mine, and you just know that it's probably going to be a little bit deeper, unless you find some evidence of like, if you can find some evidence of like magic in this mine, that might point you in the direction that you would find this. If you can find some evidence of like large deposits of those minerals that I mentioned earlier, that might point you in the direction. You know that there was this stuff in here at some point, so just gotta keep on looking unless you have some better idea.
Sounds good. Given that I completely bungled my perception check, I have no idea what's around me. So let's go down those stairs.
Okay. So you start walking down this path. It is getting, I guess, around you. I'll say also that the temperature is nice and pleasant. When you're in like a cave, it's not too cold, not too hot. Definitely pretty nice. But it's also very musty down here. As you go farther and farther down, You're also hearing a little bit more of that scratching noise as you make your way down maybe the third path, the third sort of loop. So these stairs are sort of going back and forth down one side of this this shaft. As you're making your way down, I'm going to want you to roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh.
You're maybe you aren't really sure how high up you are at this point.
Okay. Let me roll this thing. It's a 20. I rolled 20.
Yeah, roll a d20 and add your dexterity.
Ugh. All right. There's a 5 plus a 2.
All right, and she's also going to roll hers. Yeah, she got an 8. Both of you are walking down one row of the stairs, and it's you've sort of gotten a little bit of confidence, like walking pretty quickly as you make your way down. But then as you put your full weight on one of the steps, it just sort of you hear a crunch, and then it breaks out from under you, and you both start to drop.
All right. I'm gonna cast another Featherfall.
Smart. Yeah, so Featherfall is a reaction. Mark that off that you've used that. Do you cover Lee with that as well?
Yeah, it covers 5 creatures.
Nice.
Within 60 feet.
Sweet.
So I assume that we weren't that far apart.
No, you guys were like within like 5 feet of each other. You guys were on the same row of steps. So they collapse out from under you, and you guys both start to fall down. But then all of a sudden you sort of crack one of those. Or were you saying that you like shatter those things in your hand?
Yeah, just.
Yeah. You shatter one of those little pieces in your hand, those little glass amulets, and suddenly you guys are both enveloped in this feathery white light that catches you and slows you guys down as you fall further to the ground.
All right.
And then
cool. So it looks like that sped up our descent into the darkness.
Lee like shouts as you guys are falling, but then sort of laughs to herself as she realizes that you've caught her, that you've slowed their fall. When you guys hit the ground, she stands up and oh geez, thanks boss, and she pats your back.
All right. Actually, another question. Can I identify Lapis Tempest by sight?
I would say you could probably recognize it. Yeah.
Geez, I don't know how those. That's a bit of a drop between those two stairs.
You look up and you can see maybe 20 feet up above you, maybe 30 feet up above you. A section of stairs has fallen out. That's maybe 10 or 15 feet from where it continues. So it's a pretty large break. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a climb to get back up. Hey folks, as you can probably guess, this episode went kind of long. The next part will be coming out pretty soon. I'm going to try to do it a little bit earlier than usual, but until then, I'm just gonna pitter patter on out of here. See you guys later. Thanks to the Joy Drops for the use of Not Drunk as our intro and outro music. Find them at thejOydrops.com. You can find us at sidecharacterquest.com, at SCQ Podcast on Twitter, or by email at sidecharacterquest@gmail.com.
This is going to get cut and put in the bloopers.
And the voice memo. Oh, can I tell you, the voice memo just started playing by itself. Like when I got in my car, it's connected in Bluetooth automatically. and it usually just starts playing whatever it wants, which is normally my podcast, which is what I want it to do. Except this time it like starts off. I'm like, this is a weird podcast. Like, what's going on? There's no intro. It's like it was dead air, and they're like, there's no intro. I'm like, who's this person talking? What podcast is this? I'm like, no, it's me. I accidentally listened to myself. This is awful. It's so bad. Does it make, I guess, from a game mechanics / listener's perspective, if I'm just like dropping a ton of spells because I know that I'm not going to need to use them again, is that unrealistic within this world?
Not really. I would say that most of the time what happens is people forget that they have spells, and so they don't end up using them. I would say that you would probably, just because of how you talked about having prepared the spells, where they're like these little crystalline things, you probably wouldn't bust them out just for shits and giggles. But if your life was in danger or something, so basically, as the spells become higher level, like I would expect you to try something before throwing out a 3rd or 4th level spell.
Okay. Hold on, let me just check.
Kitty.
Did you hear that?
I did hear the kitty.
Let me put the kitty in the bloopers. Hi. Let me see if I can grab him.
Oh, it's a good kitty. It's a good kitty. Yes.
Hi.
Oh, it's a good kitty. He's just looking everywhere. Oh. Oh, yay.
Is it okay if I keep them in here?
That is perfectly fine. If
right.
you pick up little cat noises, I'm completely okay with that. Hey listeners, if this is showing up in the bloopers, I want you to know, if any of you complain to me about cat noises, oh boy, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna be so mad. These kitties deserve a spot. They just want to play D&D.
Do you remember your Lee voice?
Yeah, it's kind of like this. I actually can pull it to mind this time, unlike last time when I kept screwing it up during the show. So we'll see how it works.
All right, so it's the monastery that Alden is stealing from. Alton or Alden? Alton, right?
Alton.
Like the brown.
Yes. So fun fact. Mallory and Eli and Daryl say that the campaign that I've run reminds them, like the way that I DM reminds them of Alton Brown. And so
really,
yeah, so that's what they've told me. I've never watched anything with Alton Brown, so I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what they've told me. And so Mallory chose the name Alton, referencing that. Yeah.
Is there somebody else named Ramsey in your campaign?
No, I don't believe so.
You could have had like Alton, Ramsey, and
Gordon Ramsay. Okay, I get it.
Flay, Bobby Flay or something.
Guy Fieri. Wait. Goblin Fieri. Goblin or Guy Fiery. It's like a
fiery guy.
It's like a fire elemental cook.
He's been enslaved in the kitchen, so he's forced to cook things.
Oh goodness. Yeah, exactly. Google Hangouts, why are you doing this to me? Whoa, there you are. There you are. Google Hangouts, you freed us. We're back. We are ready to join.
Sorry, I'm gonna get a cough drop.
Oh yeah, that crinkle crackle cough drop. This is all getting cut out. I'm gonna take a swig of my Fabergé egg.
That was a great way to end that intro.
Yeah, I didn't know how we were gonna get out of it.
I didn't either. You
I
might
was
have
like,
had to use that voice the whole time.
this is going kind of long. How are we gonna do this? And then it was just like, nope, we're done.
Cat with the save.